Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join our webinar this evening. I'm so excited to go over this market with you folks, along with our amazing partner, Malika Womack, who I will be introducing shortly. Many of us are working from home and definitely have limited exposures outside, so I'm grateful that we're able to give you guys this information via webinar. While many of us may be at home thinking of better ways to diversify our income. So before we go to the next slide, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, one thing we're really excited about is that Clarksville is actually rated the #1 place to live in America, according to Money Magazine in 2019. And we're really excited to be going over the Clarksville market and helping our clients become part of this. So a little bit more about myself. My name is Vince Tomich, and I'm an advisor here at Marshall Reddick. My primary role as a real estate advisor is to learn as much as I can about each individual investor and to help guide you guys through the process of achieving your investment goals. Born and raised here in Southern California, I've been in the real estate industry for over 5 years. I am an investment property owner myself and plan on continuing to grow my portfolio, especially during this time. Prior to my role as an advisor, I was a mortgage lender for a number of years, and that's where I really learned the value of leveraging money. I realized that investing, especially in my market in Southern California, was very difficult. But when I was introduced to the idea of investing out of state, coupled with understanding financing, is what made this idea of investing much more realistic. And that's when, over the last 4 years, I've been able to accumulate 3 single-family properties. It's just really pushed me to continue on, and being part of Marshall Reddick has given me so many tools to make that even better. So for those of you, it looks like I see there are quite a few familiar names who have attended webinars or events in the past, but I also see a lot of new names. So this would be a good opportunity to introduce to the new folks who Marshall Reddick is and what we do. So Marshall Reddick is a full-service real estate firm, and we focus on 3 primary services. 1 being real estate brokerage, 2 property management, and 3 private lending. So for our real estate brokerage, we help people buy and sell locally, whether it's here in Southern California or in one of our other 16 markets across the country. For property management, 99% of the folks who buy an investment property are going to need a property manager. The folks, to be able to market the property, coordinate showings, rent collection, rent disbursement, field any kind of maintenance requests. So we would handle all of that for our owners, from single families to smaller multifamily properties. And then finally, our private lending services. So we actually have 2 clients in that service. We have our borrowers and we have our lenders. So our borrowers are typically those folks who are looking to either do a fix and flip on a home, maybe people who are looking to tap into their self-directed retirement account to acquire property. And then on the flip side to that, we have our lenders. So the same way that we're talking about potentially you investing in real estate, we have the ability for you to invest in first position mortgages. So that is an alternative to some of our real estate investments that we offer. And, my goal is to make the process of investing out of state as seamless as possible, educating and introducing our key players that work with us to make everything run smoothly. So a little bit more about our market. So as I mentioned earlier, we're in 16 different markets across the country. Today, our focus is going to be Clarksville, Tennessee, and Oak Grove, Kentucky. But what you can notice here is there is certain markets that are outlined in green. Those are actually markets in which we have a brick and mortar presence. We have offices, we have agents, we have property managers, we have vendors. We actually have boots on the ground there, and allow us to definitely be able to serve your needs as an investor very well. So where to invest, right? So we've taken the time to vet out specific markets we want to focus on. I think we can all agree that not every market across the U.S. is a perfect market to invest in. And we have put together some key criteria that we feel will support a strong investment market, which includes a strong job market. We want to make sure that the tenants living there have various options to jobs. We're looking for a market that has a low vacancy rate. Economic diversity, very important, and housing affordability. Like I mentioned earlier, being here in Southern California, not the most affordable, so it makes that barrier of entry very high. So now we're into other markets, like for example, Clarksville, which has a much more attractive, price point to get in, as well as lower rents as well. So very, very helpful there. And then landlord-friendly states, which is key. That's, if you notice, all of the markets that we operate in tend to have a landlord, be landlord friendly. Having strong education is important in these markets. And then last but definitely not least is reliable property management. So we'd like to be in solid markets that offer, options of good property management. Fortunately, most of the markets that we operate in, we offer the property management, so you would be, definitely covered there. And without further ado, I'm excited to introduce our partner, Malika Womack, who's been working with our company for many years. She has been in Clarksville, Tennessee for quite some time, and Oak Grove, Kentucky, which is right on the border. So she is our expert in that market, and she's going to be able to go over this in much more detail. So I'm going to go ahead and send it off to you, Malika.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Thank you. So let me get into a little bit about who I am. I'm Malika Womack. I am a realtor. I'm licensed in Tennessee and Kentucky, and I work mostly with all the investors that are looking to buy in this market. Christina works as our leasing agent. She does an awesome job working hard to get your properties leased out in a quick amount of time. Okay, and here's the property management team. As you know, we are a one-stop shop at Marshall Reddick. We not only just do investment sales and real estate sales, but we also do property management. So we are a one-stop shop. Our property management team is Joshua Simmons. He is our property manager. And Taylor Mata is our owner coordinator. Taylor works really hands-on with the every owner, making sure that your tenants are getting the things that they need to get, and the owners are getting the lease copies of the leases and processing payments. So they work really hard on the property management side. A little bit about our fee structures and the fees for our property management. We have a 7% management fee. Flat rate of 75 or 50 if you're under a certain amount, but anything less than 75 would be, greater than 75 would be the 7%. If it's less than that in rent, then it would be the $75. $50 for your multifamily or duplexes. We charge, a little bit less for, because you're getting smaller rents. 50% on your leasing fees. So the minimum leasing fee is going to be $450 for a single family and $300 for a multifamily. Couple of other great things and benefits of having properties in property management with Marshall Reddick is that we do not charge a lease renewal fee. A lot of property management companies charge a lease renewal fee every time your tenant, renews their lease. That's not something that we do. We don't charge anything. As well as there's no upcharge on maintenance. Some property managers charge you an extra 15 to 20% just for, a water leak or something, or if you have to have a vendor go out and fix your air conditioner. That property management company makes money as well off of you and you already have to pay to get that repair done. So that's not something that we do at Marshall Reddick. So that's a little bit with that. This is our Clarksville office. That's our sign. We opened in November of 2018. I think Ross and Scott both have been out, and we're very proud of our office. We're centrally located right off of Wilma Rudolph Boulevard in Clarksville, like the heart of Clarksville. So we're proud about our signs. That's where we are, and just a little photo of the team. And without Taylor, this is before Taylor started, but this is a little photo of the team. And as I was saying, we are a one-stop shop. A little bit about the location of Clarksville, Tennessee. If you haven't really heard of Clarksville, Tennessee, I'm sure you've heard of Nashville. So we're about 40 minutes north of Nashville. So we're 40 minutes north of Nashville, and we're right on that Kentucky-Tennessee border. So we're really close to Kentucky, like literally from my house to Kentucky, I'm like 8 minutes drive, and I'm in Kentucky. So Fort Campbell, the military base, is like right on that border. Half is in Tennessee and half is in Kentucky. So we're close to Nashville, and that's one of the reasons why this market does so great, is because we get a lot of that trickle down effect that comes from the boom effect from Nashville. And as you can see, Clarksville, we have two different counties in Clarksville. We have Montgomery and Stewart. We predominantly are in Montgomery County. That's where, our properties, we purchase our properties in Montgomery, and not so much of Stewart, but Clarksville does have two different counties, just to let you know that. And then Christian County, if you can see that, that is where Oak Grove is located. It's in Christian County. All right, so the population of Clarksville. So this is just giving you a little insight on how many people live in this area. We're growing tremendously. I've been living here for 9 years almost, and we have grown tremendously in population. A lot of people are moving here. People are migrating here from Nashville and other surrounding areas. They all want to live in Clarksville. As it was mentioned earlier, that we are the #1 place to live as of last year by Money Magazine. And so I can honestly understand why they're saying that, because it's very lucrative here in this market. So we have a lot of younger homeowners here too. Like the median age is like 28, decent income. And that's another reason why this market is so desirable. Homeowner ownership rate is 57.9%, and I think that's really good. When there's other markets out there, there's in the lower 30s or maybe 40s, but 57.9% is pretty good. You can get an average a home here. First time buyers is somewhere around 158.5. So I know that's totally different for those of you who are from California. I know you don't see that number very often, but that's the norm here. Our Marshall Reddick occupancy rate is 98%. We do very well on the property management side. The properties do not stay vacant long. We have a revolving door of, just a diverse set of people coming in and out of this area that's always looking for property to lease out. Another reason why this market is so grand is because of the job opportunities here. We have LG. I know everyone's heard of LG. You probably got a telephone, a cell phone, or a TV or something, some kind of electronic in your home that, is LG. So we do have a LG plant here. They hire, mass amount of people, and it's still growing, and it's very demanding here. So, you have a lot of job opportunities and employment opportunities in this market, along with Google. You have Train and Hancock. These are really big time companies here in this area of Clarksville, Tennessee, that employs a lot of employees, hundreds and thousands of employees, and that's why this market is in so high demand. The properties don't last long, whether if it's rental properties or even putting them on for sale. They don't last long because we have so many people here. A couple of more companies that are here. We have a Jera, which is a call center. And we have Austin P, which not only is a college that brings people here as well, but just, you have, there's still jobs and there's students and more people that's needing, places to live and stay while they're here. Bridgestone and Tennova. The unique thing about Tennova Healthcare is there are companies that employ traveling nurses. And these traveling nurses, they come in and they stay for like 12 to 15 weeks. So the companies like to have like the bigger homes so that they can have, a place to live for their employees while they're there. So basically you are renting out your property, not to the individual nurses that are coming and going, but to the company. And that company does a contract with you for like 2 years or 3 years or whatever their contract is with that hospital, so that they can have a place to stay as their nurses are coming and going. So that's just giving you a little insight on Tennova and some of the things that are going on in this market. Fort Campbell, we are the second largest military base in the world. It is a massive post. If you have never been to this area and you would like just to come and do a tour and kind of see what's going on here in this market, I would, invite you out to come and, when you have the opportunity, and let's go and ride by the post and kind of see how big and massive it is, see how it goes from one state to the other state, and and it's still growing. They're still adding on to it and expanding it. With Fort Campbell, you have it's a great opportunity for, as far as landlords go, for tenants, because you have the military that's like a revolving door. You have the troops that are here, and yes, they do get deployed sometime, and they get PCS somewhere else. But as quickly as they're leaving, you got the next big gush of soldiers coming here. So it's like they're always looking for houses, and when they come, they're looking for something like right away. Like, hey, I saw this ad online, and I'm looking for a place to live right now. My family's coming tomorrow, and I gotta get situated. So that's the great thing about Fort Campbell being here. It helps us a lot in this real estate market.
Okay, so this brings us to our Clarksville, Tennessee page here, where we're going to go over a little bit more of the property classes, and you can kind of see the appreciation trend here. We have market data all the way that dates back to 1996. We have an ebook, a property rating ebook, that if you have not read, we encourage you to take a look at, and it dives in much deeper into the property classes. And what you'll see here in that heat chart, the colored heat chart here, is luxury A, B, C, and D. And it's all based on the metropolitan statistical area. So there is an average price point in that, like I said, metropolitan statistical area. So basically anything from that 100% mark, anything from 158,500 to 206 would be considered an A-class property. Anything from 158,500 to 126 B, and so on and so forth. So you're going to see that on all of our properties online. It'll be labeled either A, B, or C. We typically stay away from luxury properties, and we typically stay away from D-class properties, just being that luxury tends to be more custom and more expensive, and you don't get the rent that really makes sense for that. And then the opposite kind of for D, whereas the numbers may look really good, but there are variable expenses that come into play that make that investment not as attractive. For Clarksville, what you'll see is very steady Eddie increases in appreciation over the last 25 years. So that is one of the major reasons that we've decided to have an office in this market, is because of that steady increase in appreciation, as well as the affordable price point. As you can see, the average, the metropolitan statistical area median home price is about 158. A lot of our properties that you'll see on our website are even below that. So it's a very good entry point for those first-time investors, or those folks who are, don't have as much capital to work with. So that highlights a lot of why we have decided to stick with this market. Okay, guys, and now we're going to dive into the Marshall Reddick properties. We have a few different options for you guys. So as you can see, it says exclusive Marshall Reddick inventory in Clarksville and Oak Grove, Kentucky. So what we mean by that is we have, like I said, a couple options. First option being Marshall Reddick rent-ready property. So what that entails is us purchasing a property beforehand. So we are the owners. We are doing rehabs to the property to make it as like new as possible. And then we are either actively marketing the property for a tenant, or we may even have a tenant in there for you. So the idea or the goal would be to have this property leased out, producing income before closing. that is a much more hands-off approach. It allows investors who are just getting into this to kind of mitigate the risks of repairs or delays in leasing, and really allows a much more streamlined process to success. So that is on one side of the spectrum. We also have wholesale opportunities, which is a really interesting offer that we have, in which we will be prepared to sell properties to you that we have in our possession but have not yet started construction. So this will allow you to gain a bit more of an equity position. You'll be able to put some of your own money into the property to get it to that rent-ready status. And we can help facilitate that. So we have the contractors and vendors and people in place to help facilitate, but it is definitely more of a hands-on approach as opposed to the rent-ready option. And then, a third option, which is the more traditional MLS sales, where you can get with Malika and you can kind of give her your criteria of what exactly you're looking for. She's searching the MLS, and then we are going after third-party sellers like you would find in the traditional market. So those are our three options that we can offer you folks. And next, what we'll do is we'll actually jump into some live, some properties that are active on the website now.
Thank you so much. So here's our first property we're going to talk about, which is 3208 Tabby Drive. That property is in Clarksville. It has been renovated. It has, let me tell you some of the things that it has. It has a brand new roof, has brand new flooring throughout, carpet in the bedrooms. I like to put the laminate hardwood throughout the living areas, but I like carpet in my bedrooms. It has resurfaced bathtubs, resurfaced countertops in the kitchen and bathrooms, brand new stainless steel appliances. So super, super cute. This property is rented. It is rented on a 12-month lease at $1,050 a month. And this property is ready to go. It is really close to Post on the Clarksville side. It's not too far from the Kentucky side as well. So it's very desirable. It was actually just on available for like 2 days, and then it got rented that quickly. So it was on the market for 2 days for rent, and then it was rented. So this is an example of how quickly a property is, how desirable properties are and how quick they go, and to look at the numbers. So this is conventional, 25% down. You're looking at putting 25% down, and you're looking at what you would need in reference to, your closing costs and your down payment to make this property yours. Has a cash flow about $126 a month. And the great thing about the performance that we do for you guys is that it already has built in, like we take out like maintenance, fees and stuff like that to set aside. So you're not just, something, if you do get some type of work order or repair or something, you have money set aside to, fix those things. So this is 3208 Tabby, and super cute property.
Hey, Malika, I also wanted to just point out really quick something that some of the viewers may be looking at. If we can go back a slide. The A-class property, so this is an A-class property here, and what you will see is, typically we have an 8% vacancy estimate, and we have an 8% maintenance. But what you'll notice in this particular example is because the property was rehabbed by us, and we have just put quite a bit of new things in the property. We have adjusted that maintenance estimate to 6% to represent the fact that your maintenance over the first 5 years should be a bit less. So we have kind of tweaked some of those numbers given the circumstances of what we've done to the property. So just wanted to point that out to you folks that may be following along and looking at some of the correlations between the class and the estimates there.
Absolutely. Thank you for that input. Here are some photos of the inside. You can see like the kitchen, and it shows you the back of the house, the bathroom, and one of the bedrooms. I think that's the master bedroom that you can see. So this gives you a little bit of the inside of Tabby, and how the properties look once we renovate them. So super cute house, already rented, all ready to go. Next one is 969 Apple Grove. Now, I literally just got finished with this property, and I just super stoked about it. I love the way it came out. It's so cute, and I know it's not going to last. Once I make it live, I plan on making it live later today on the market for rent, and I know it's going to go quickly. But this property is same situation, not too far from Post, like not as close to Post as some of the other properties, but not that far away neither. And that's not a bad thing, because some people don't want to live like right where they work at. They don't want to live right across the street from Post. They want to live a little, a few minutes away. So I know it's going to go quickly. It's 126.9, which I think is an awesome price for this property. And the rent, I'm going to put this on the market for like $995, $1,000 a month, because I feel like that's what the property is worth, and I know it will get rented quickly. Okay, so here are some of the inside. Very nice layout of this property. Is very unique, and you can kind of see a little bit of the living room and the kitchen area and the bathroom. This property has all new flooring, fresh paint throughout, new stainless steel appliances, and it's just ceiling fans and light fixtures, and it's very aesthetic. So I know that it's going to rent quickly. Your maintenance should be very low on this property, because we go through these properties and we put a lot into them to make them available for you as the investor. 18 Cable Road. This property is on a cash. We worked a pro forma for this property on cash, 94.9, which is under 100,000. So that's like a great price. It's already rented, so it's already has a tenant in it that's paying $825 a month for rent. I think that tenant moved in back in February, so you're looking at about another 9 to 10 months on that lease for that one.
I do want to jump in really quick and go over some of these numbers. So we don't typically, we have multiple options of purchasing on the website. Typically it's conventional financing. We also have cash and private lending. In this scenario, we have a snapshot of a cash purchase because of the price point here. So what you'll actually notice is that the price point here is a bit lower than what's listed on the website, just because when you do offer cash, there tends to be a little bit more room for negotiations to get the price down a bit. And what you'll see is, by taking out that mortgage payment, the cash flow looks quite a bit better. We are having, after all expenses paid, not factoring in any maintenance or vacancy, you're looking at a monthly income of about $640. And then, once you back out the 6% for maintenance and 8% for vacancy, remember we adjusted that maintenance from 8% to 6% because of the fact that this will be rehabbed. You're still looking like you're bringing in just about $500 a month, which is a great cash flow for this type of property. And this is, like I said, in a all cash format. If you are interested in looking at it in possibly like a conventional scenario, we're more than happy to help you do that on the website.
So I'm just going to talk a little bit about this property, and then I'm going to let my advisor jump in and go over the numbers with you. So 223 Faulkner, this property is already rented. It is very close to Post. It's on the Clarksville side, but it's very close to Gate 1, which is like one of the main gates on the Clarksville side. And it has, new flooring, new appliances, new ceiling fans and light fixtures, and super cute property. Already rented out and tenant in place.
Yes, so this is a really exciting property on Faulkner. I would say that this is your typical look for Clarksville, Tennessee. And what I mean by that price point, about $129, about $130 that 120 to 130 range is pretty typical. You're looking at a 25% down payment. Keep in mind, all of our single family homes are going to default on the website to a 25% down payment. Technically, if you didn't have that kind of cash, you could put 20% down. There will be some adjustments in rate and things of that nature. And that would be more on a case by case basis with your lender, which is, typically we use Reed Hazard. And what you'll see here, though, that is important to point out is the initial repair cost at zero, being that we do all of the make-ready repairs and that you will not have to come in with any money to get it to a position to be rented. So that's a key highlight here. Some of those numbers, again, towards the bottom, after backing out all of your fixed expenses, you're looking at a monthly income of $281.75, and then once you factor out your variable expenses, those being maintenance and vacancy and the leasing fee, you're looking at about $122. So this is another very solid property, also on the newer side, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, this is what I would say is definitely something that is pretty common in terms of the numbers. So good example for Clarksville.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So we're going to talk a little bit about wholesale. This is one of the properties that we've mentioned earlier on about the wholesale property. A property that we have purchased is the same way. There's nothing that we've done, nothing to it, no kind of renovation. And if you're interested, you can buy this property for a slightly higher price for what we paid for it, and you have to do the renovations on your own. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. We can help facilitate the renovations if you go through our preferred vendor contractor, which is Michael Womack General Service. That's my husband, and he does all of Marshall Reddick's renovations. If you want to go through him, then he can help you get your property renovated. You're more than welcome to find your own local contractor that can do the renovations for you. If you do choose to buy a property that is, buy this property at a wholesale price, what you have to do is you can either pay, like, the estimated repair cost is $17,500. So you cut that check to Womack General for $17,500, and Mike will facilitate everything. Everything that needs to be done. You'll get an itemized list of all the stuff that's that needs to be done to bring this property up to what we call Marshall Reddick Rent Ready, so move-in ready. So the flooring, the appliances, whatever needs to be done, and he'll handle all that. Another way, if you can buy all the materials yourself, and he will go and get all your materials, and then you would pay for those materials. And then he will be able to get 50% of the labor up front, and then you would pay the other 50% at the end of completion. So that's one of the properties that we have that is a wholesale property.
So yes, there are quite a bit of investors that we run into who are looking to do value adds, right? So a little bit more involvement, want to put some sweat equity into it. And this is a really good example of that opportunity. So we own this property as of now. We have not yet started any kind of construction. So you do have the opportunity to buy it from us for a slight wholesale markup. That number there being $121,500. We do have being that this property is in good enough condition to qualify for conventional financing, we have the numbers broken down for a conventional purchase. So we have you putting down 20% down, which is where you see that $24,300. The initial repair cost that we estimated at this time is about $17,500 to get the property in a rent-ready condition. We also tack on the closing cost there of $3,750, and that's how you arrive to that number of $45,550. So just over that $45,000 mark. Now, like we were mentioning, this is a very different approach than going with the rent-ready model, as you are going to have a lot more communication and decisions to be made, and there's just more effort put forth into this. But with that trade-off, you are going to be able to get yourself quite a bit more of an equity position. So typically, we would be selling this property at about $150,000. And if you were to, you're going to be able to definitely come in with much less money going this route, being that we estimated to appraise at $150,000. So it could make sense for those investors, like I said, who are looking for those opportunities, wanting to put in more work, whether you have somebody yourself or you would like to go with Womack General Construction. That is up to you, but we do have the options for you. So another good option.
Thank you so much for breaking that down. Here's another property as well that we are offering on the wholesale side. 923 Van Buren. This property is located on Oak Grove side and is really close to Post. And as we said, we done nothing to the property. We just purchased the property and we're making it available to you at $77,900 if you want to pick this up with cash. And now I will let my money people go into their money spiel.
Yeah, so excited to jump into this property as well. So the pro forma in this scenario is broken into a cash purchase. So again, that list price of $77,900. Our estimate on repair costs for this one about $21,000, and then closing costs of about another $1,000, brings you all into $99,958. So just under that $100,000 mark. Really interesting number, just because at those cash purchase numbers, you're looking at a monthly income of $710. You back out, maintenance, vacancy, and leasing fee, and you're still looking at a cash flow of about $541, which is a really solid purchase. Now, one thing for those of you that are maybe considering this wholesale option but don't have the cash available, this is where our private lending can also be factored in. So we also, as private lenders, can offer you basically private money loan to help with the purchase or help with the rehab. So if that cash isn't already on hand, we do have some options if that is a serious route that you would like to go. So more than happy to get you connected with the right people to have those conversations, but just wanted to throw that as another option for you guys.
Thank you so much. So we have some more properties that are coming soon that are in the queue, as I call it. They're not ready yet. We have not started the renovations on them, but we do have them coming up. And that's 227 Faulkner, which is like 2 doors down from 223 Faulkner. Then we have 2118 Powell, that's in Clarksville, 115 Karen, 617 Arctic, and 900 Van Buren is actually, that one is ready. So if you want to speak to your advisor or myself about that property to get more information, feel free to do so. So those are the properties that we do have coming up. If you want to look further into this market and possibly look and see what the local market has to offer on the standard MLS, feel free to reach out to me. We have other options as well, not just what we offer from the Marshall Reddick Rent-Ready properties or our wholesale properties, but you can also feel free to contact me if you happen to be surfing the web and you see properties that you're interested in this market, and I'm happy to help you purchase those properties as well. If you need more information or you're interested and you're really serious about this market, feel free to reach out. We have a data packet for you that tells you all the information you need to know about the Clarksville market and the Oak Grove area. Everything that you've seen within the webinar, the job market here, the real estate market here, and just the area itself and all the economic statuses. You feel free to get this data packet and reach out to us, reach out to your advisor.
Okay, thanks for touching on that data packet, Malika. This is a really good way for you investors to get some of that more analytical information about a market that may help with a decision. So more than happy to show you guys where to find that. They are on our website, but I can send directly, once we set up our one-on-one calls. So before we go, we have a few questions. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but what we will do is, when I reach out after this presentation, if you do have questions, we can talk more on one-on-one. So I'll field a couple, excuse me, I'll field a couple of these questions now. So first one, Malika, is will the property be rented at closing? And if so, do I still have to pay a leasing fee?
So you don't have to pay a leasing fee. Once you purchase the property and the tenant is in place, you're good for a year. So for 12 months, you don't have to pay a leasing fee. Now, once that tenant moves out after their 12-month lease and it's time to find a new tenant, then you'll be responsible for a new leasing fee. In reference to the tenant being in place before closing, that is our ultimate goal. We normally do a 30-day contract, closing date period. But if we need to extend it out to 45 days or so, we can. But that's never an issue. Properties, go really quick, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't, be rented within 30 days.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Malika. One more is we did touch on this question a little bit earlier, but I think it's good that we kind of go back to this, is who facilitates the wholesale rehab if you decide to go that route?
So that's totally up to the buyer. They can always reach out to Mike with Womack General and see if, he can fit it into the schedule, and he'll be happy to facilitate it if you can. Or you can also look and search for your own local contractor as well. And I can help you with that to try to find, someone else and give you just the names and numbers of other contractors throughout town that, can do your renovations as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering that as well. And then our final question is, what is the difference between a Marshall Reddick Rent-Ready property and a traditional MLS listing? So actually, I will go ahead and take that one, Malika. So the difference is, with an MLS listing, we are buying from a third party that we may or may not have a relationship with. Most likely, we do not. With that said, there's going to be no determining whether the seller is going to be willing to do any repairs, be willing to negotiate on prices, do anything that we ask for, right? Also, a big difference is we have to close escrow on that property prior to us making any kind of rehabs, rent-ready modifications, or even leasing the property. So on the flip side to that, as a Marshall Reddick rent-ready property, we, Marshall Reddick, own the property, so we have a lot more control. We, one, are going to be much more willing to fix any items that are called out on the home inspection. We're going to also, give you a huge advantage by being able to start marketing the property when you're in escrow. So escrow is about 30 days. That gives, Malika and the leasing team, a 30-day head start to potentially get you a tenant in there so that you are much closer to having someone, if not rented, prior to closing. So there is definitely some big differences there that I think pose great value to our investors. So that is the key differences. And so any other questions that you guys may have, like I said, we'll be able to do follow-ups after this call and go over it on one-on-one. So, okay, guys, so what's next? Basically, after this presentation, I am going to be reaching out to you individually to learn a little bit more about, what brought you to this event, see if you have any questions, and see what we can do to help. So those conversations could be, 60 seconds. I was just looking in and just checking in, wanted to hear what it was about, or we can go into much, an hour long, right, where we can go into much greater detail about specifics that you want to accomplish, and what, introducing you to the key players and the folks that are going to be helping us with this process if you were interested in moving forward. Like I mentioned, what you can expect from this consultation, we're going to go over the who, what, when, where, and why, right? So we want to go over why you're investing in real estate. So go over some of your goals. What are you trying to accomplish through this? How are you going to do it? Are we going to buy cash? Are we going to go conventional? Are we going to use our retirement account and use private lending, right? When do we plan on purchasing, especially at a time like this, there's a lot of uncertainty of when that timing is. It's something that we can discuss in more detail and go over that. Setting your criteria to establish, is it going to be a single family? Is it going to be a multi-unit? Is it going to be an A class, C class, whatever it is, right? We can go over that in more detail. Where you'd like to invest. Specifically, like I said, for this market, if it's Clarksville or Oak Grove, Kentucky, we're going to be diving in and getting in touch with Malika, and that is kind of, my last point is our key player. So Malika would be our agent and expert in that market. We'll also introduce you to our preferred conventional lender, Reed Hazard, our property management, and all the other, insurance, all the other key players that would be involved to accomplish this for you. Now, keep in mind, having this consultation does not obligate you to move forward at any, by any means. It is something that, this can take, some of the people that are ready to go and have been looking at, this market, this could be 1 week, or this could be, 6 months to a year. It is all on you, and I just want to establish there is a no pressure kind of situation here. So more than happy to work with each individual client at the pace that you feel comfortable. And I will be reaching out to you folks after the presentation to try to set up those consultations. If for any reason you would like to reach out to me beforehand, this is my information, my cell phone, my email. I'm always available. You can either shoot me a text, give me a call, whatever, to set up a time, and we'll go from there. So I wanted to thank you guys so much for attending. Really happy we were able to bring this webinar to you guys. And I want to also thank Malika from Tennessee for her time and all of the information she has given us. And we look forward to connecting with you all very soon. Thank you.